Hello guys, welcome to my channel Science to Scientist. Today we will go to learn a new chapter that is the fundamental units of life. Life as we know it took billions of years to evolve from the very first precursor of life to the multitude of multicellular organisms that we see around us today. The most basic unit of all this is the cell. All living organisms in this universe are made up of cells. They either exist as a single cell or as combination of multiple cells.
So here we will see about the discoverer in the period of time and what they have discovered. So Robert Hooke in 1665 noticed the presence of cells in the cork slice, whereas Leeuwenhoek in 1674 found the presence of living cells in the pond water. Robert Brown in 1831 recognized the existence of the nucleus in the cell. Purkinje in 1839 invented the term protoplasm, which is the liquid present in a cell. Whereas Schleiden and Schwarzschild in 1838 and 1839 respectively presented the cell theory that all organisms are actually made up of cells. Whereas Virchow in 1855 suggested that all cells from the cell that already exist in nature.
Talking about the cell theory, a cell is the structural and functional units of living organism. All the living organisms are made up of cells. Cells are formed from pre-existing cells. Talking about unicellular and multicellular organisms. Unicellular, the organisms that consist of single cells such as amoeba, and multicellular, the organism which contains various cells that perform different functions in the organism such as plants, fungi and animals. Now there is a question, how can multicellular organism originate from a single cell? A cell has the capability to divide itself into cells of its own type. Therefore, more cells can generate from an already existing cell. Now the shape of cell. The shape of the cell may vary depending upon the types of functions they perform in an organism. Cells are capable of changing their shape. For example, the white blood cells and amoeba can change shapes on their own. Now, how can cells perform distinct functions in organism? Cells are capable of performing multiple functions in an organism. A cell contains specific components and which are called organelles. Each organelle in the cell can perform different functions such as making new cells or clearing the waste of the cell. Thus, organelles allow a cell to perform several kinds of activities in an organism. Now talking about the organization of the cell.
So here is the structure and components of a cell. In animal cell there is cell membrane, nucleus, nucleolus, mitochondria, vacuoles, lysosomes, cytoplasm, Golgi complex and endoplasmic reticulum. Whereas in plant cell there is also vacuole, nuclear envelope, nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, cytoplasm, chloroplast, Golgi apparatus, cell wall, mitochondrion and cell membrane.
A cell contains three features, that is the plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. Talking about plasma membrane, it is just like an envelope that covers the whole cell. Therefore, a cell gets separated from the external environment because it has a plasma membrane. The plasma membrane has the capability to decide which material should enter or leave the cell and which should not. That is why it is called a selective permeable membrane. Talking about the Fluid-Mosaic model of plasma membrane. The Fluid-Mosaic model explaining the structure of the plasma membrane. According to it, the plasma membrane comprises of three components, that is lipids, proteins and carbohydrates. These components can flow freely and fluidly inside the plasma membrane. There are two types of lipids, that is fats in the plasma membrane, that is phospholipid and cholesterol. Phospholipid, it is a lipid made up of glycerol, two fatty acids and phosphate. It creates a semi-permeable membrane which allows flow of only certain material inside/outside the cell. Now cholesterol, It is the lipid which provides fluidity to the surface of plasma membrane. The proteins act as receptors of the cell and help in transportation across the cell membrane. The carbohydrates attach themselves with the lipids and proteins and are found on extracellular side of the membrane. Now, how can substance move in and out of a cell? Gaseous exchange between the cells and its external environment. Movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide to and from the cell is carried out by the means of diffusion. Gaseous substances have tendency to move to areas where their concentration is less from the area where there is higher. This movement is defined as process of diffusion. Diffusion can take place of solids, liquids and gases. Now, movement of water between the cell and its external environment. It is carried out by the means of osmosis. Osmosis is a process in which water moves from the region of high concentration to one of its low concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Therefore, we can say that osmosis is just a special case of the process of diffusion. Now, there are three types of solution, that is hypotonic, hypertonic and isotonic. So hypotonic, it is the concentration, if the concentration of water outside the cell is higher than the concentration of water inside the cell gains water by the process of osmosis. Water can move into the cell from the cell membrane. In the case of hypotonic solutions, more amount of water enters the cell, which results in swelling of the cell. Now, isotonic solution. If the cells are put in an environment which has similar concentration of water as present inside, this state allows for the free movement of water across the membrane without changing concentration of solutes on either side. Therefore, the size of the cell does not vary in any isotonic solution because there is no net movement of water. Now, talking about hypertonic solution. If the cells are kept in an environment which has lower concentration of water than what is present inside the cell, then due to process of osmosis, water moves outside the cell. This results in the decrease of size of the cell, means they shrink as more amount of water comes out of the cell. Now, what is endocytosis? It is the process by which the plasma membrane engulfs food and other materials inside the cell. Discussing about cell wall, the cell wall is an outer hard covering of the cell which maintains the shape of the cell. The cell wall is generally made of cellulose. Now, what is plasmolysis? Plasmolysis is a process in which the contents of the cell that are away from the cell wall shrink or contract when a cell loses water due to osmosis when it is kept in hypertonic solution. Now, can dead cells absorb water? No, dead cells cannot absorb water through osmosis. Another question is how plants, fungi and bacteria can exist in hypotonic medium. Plants, fungi and bacteria exist in such situation because of their rigid cell membranes. Even if the cells swell up, the cell membrane is able to prevent them from bursting out. Discussing about the nucleus. Nucleus is prominent organelle present in the cell, which is the controlling center of all activities of the cell. Discussing about the structures of the nucleus. A nucleus has a nuclear membrane which covers it all around. There are pores present on the nuclear membrane that allows movement of substance in and out of the nucleus. There are chromosomes, rod-shaped structures present in the nucleus which contains genetic information. The chromosome contains two types of things, that is DNA and proteins. DNA is called deoxyribonucleic acid. This is responsible for organizing and constructing new cells. Whereas proteins, this helps in packaging and condensation of DNA. Chromation. Chromation is a thread-like material present in the cell. The chromatin organizes itself into chromosomes whenever the cell is about to divide. Now, nucleolus. It is about the brain of the nucleus. It comprises of 25% of the volume of the nucleus. It consists of proteins and ribonucleic acids, that is RNA. It helps in formation of ribosomes, which help in the formation of proteins inside the cell. Now, what is nucleolide? Sometimes cells do not have a well-defined nucleus because they lack a nuclear membrane. Such a nucleus with no definite nuclear boundaries is called a nucleoid. Now, what are prokaryotes? Organisms whose cells do not have a definite cell membrane are called prokaryotes. Similarly, what are eukaryotes? The organisms whose cell contains a well-defined nuclear membrane are called eukaryotes. Now, are there any further differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? So let us discuss it. Now, what is the significance of membrane-bound organelles in a cell? The cells perform several functions. The organelles are useful because they allow separation of different functions that are being performed by the cell. Organelles which carry out important activities in cell are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, mitochondria, plastids, vacuoles, centrioles, ribosomes and peroximes. In this, I have discussed the 9 topics, but in NCERT book it's just given about 6. So we will be knowing more about in details. Okay. So first, endoplasmic reticulum. The structure of the ER is quite similar to that of the plasma membrane. It is a network-like structure which consists of the membrane-bound tubes and the sheets. Now there are 2 types of ER, that is rough ER, abbreviated as RER, and smooth ER, that is abbreviated as SER. Now RER contains ribosomes that are responsible for the manufacturing of proteins in the cells. They give a rough texture to the cell. Now the smooth ER manufactures fats or lipids in the cell, which allow the functioning of the cell. Now, what are the functions of lipids and proteins? Proteins and lipids synthesized on ER are used to making the cell membrane. The process is known as membrane biogenesis. Proteins can act as an enzyme. Both proteins and lipids can act as hormones. Now, functions of ER. Transportation of material between different parts of the cytoplasm and also between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Holding of proteins which are synthesized by ribosomes on RER. Detoxifying poisons and drugs out of the cell is function of SER. Discussing about Golgi apparatus. Camillo Golgi discovered the Golgi apparatus. It contains vesicles that are arranged parallel in the stacks. These stacks are called cisterns. These vesicles have their own membranes. These membranes are sometimes connected to those of the ER. Now, functions of Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus carries material synthesized by the ER to different parts of the cell. The material is stored and packed in vesicles. Formation of complex sugar and formation of lysosomes. Lysosomes. They are single membrane vesicles which are responsible for cleaning the cell. They can digest any foreign material such as food or bacteria and even the warm out cell organelles. Now, how lysosomes can digest any foreign material that enters the cell? Lysosomes that capable of doing so because they have digestive enzymes in them. These enzymes break the materials and digest them. These enzymes are synthesized by RER and packed into lysosomes by Golgi bodies. Now, why lysosomes are called suicide bags? If the cell's own material gets damaged or dead, there are chances that lysosomes burst out, thus digesting it on cell. Now, mitochondria. It is the double membrane organelle which has its own DNA, and that is why often called semi-autonomous organelle. This cell requires energy in order to carry out several activities. This energy is generated by mitochondria, which are often called as powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria are the site of cellular respiration. They use oxygen from air to oxidize and carbohydrates and thereby release energy. Now, what are energy currencies of a cell? The mitochondria generates ATP, that is endocyne triosphere, which is energy-giving molecules of the cell that are often called as their energy currency. The two membranes of mitochondria is outer membrane that is porous in nature and inner membrane that is deeply folded. The inner membrane of mitochondria, called as cristae, facilitates generation of ATP molecules as it has a larger surface area. Discussing about plastids, just like mitochondria, it is also double membraned organelle, which has its own DNA and ribosome. Plastid exist in the plant cells only. Depending upon the type of functions they play in the cell, they can be classified as chromoplast or leucoplast.
Let's see the difference between chromoplast and leucoplast. Chromoplast, colored in nature, contain a pigment called chlorophyll, whereas leucoplast, colorless in nature. Cause photosynthesis in plants, whereas leucoplast act as strong spaces of the cells. Chromoplast contains orange and yellow pigments, whereas leucoplast contains starch, proteins, and oil. Chromoplast can be further divided into chloroplast, whereas leucoplast can further be divided into a myeloplast, elioplast, and proteinoplast or eleuroplast.
Classification of plastids, that is amyloplast, elioplast, and proteinoplast. Amyloplast, they are found in tubers, cotyledons, and endosperm in plants. They are used to store starch. Whereas elioplasts, they are found in epidermal cell of the plants and they store oil. Proteinoplasts are found in seeds and nuts and they store proteins. Now chloroplast. Chloroplasts are cell organelles that conduct photosynthesis in plants. Chloroplast is derived from two Greek words, that is chloro and plast, which means green and plants respectively. Chloroplast contains photosynthetic pigments called chlorophyll, along with lipids, carbohydrates, minerals, DNA, RNA, gRNA, thiolicoids, and stroma. The main function of chloroplast are conducting photosynthesis in plants, protein synthesis, release of oxygen, and storage of starch. Now, what is light-dependent reaction in photosynthesis? During photosynthesis, chlorophyll absorbs the light energy, which is then used for two molecules ATP and NADPH. Now thiolicoids. They are pillow-shaped compartments in the chromoplast. The light department reactions in photosynthesis takes place in the thiolicoids. Stroma. It is the fluid-filled matrix in the chloroplast. It is the colorless fluid that contains all the enzymes that are needed for the light-dependent reactions in photosynthesis. gRNA. Stacks of thylakoids are called gRNA. They are found in the stroma. They provide a large surface area so that the reaction of photosynthesis can take place. Talking about vacuoles, vacuoles are the place where cells can store the liquids and solids. They are present in both plants and animals, but the plant vacuole are bigger in size than the animal vacuole.
Difference between plant cells vacuoles and animal cell vacuoles. Plant cell vacuoles store all the material that is required for the plant to stay alive, such as water, whereas in animal cells, vacuoles contain food items in unicellular organisms. Plant vacuoles maintain the turgidity of the plant cell. Animal vacuoles can also expel water and waste out of the cell. Plant cells generally contain a single large vacuole, whereas in animal cells contain several small vacuoles. Plant vacuoles are present in the center of the cell and animal vacuoles are scattered throughout the cell.
Types of vacuoles: sap vacuoles, contractile vacuoles, and food vacuoles. Sap vacuoles, these are vacuoles that are filled with a fluid called vascular sap. The fluid contains amino acids, salt, sugar, proteins, water, and waste materials. Sap vacuoles are separated from the cytoplasm by a semi-permeable membrane called tonoplast. These main functions is to allow rapid exchange between cytoplasm and the surrounding environment. A number of sap vacuoles are found in young plant cells and animal cells. In mature plants, the small sap vacuoles combine together to form a single large central vacuole. Now, contractile vacuoles. They are found in protostean and algal cells in fresh water. The membrane of the contractile vacuoles is highly extensive and collapses easily. These vacuoles are responsible for osmoregulation, that is maintaining of water content of the cell, and excretion in the cell. Discussing about the food vacuoles, they are found in the cells of protozoans and several lower animals. Food vacuoles are responsible for digestion of food in the cells as they contain food enzymes. The digested food then passes into the cytoplasm. Food is single-celled organism like amoeba. Now centroids. A centroid is a small set of microtubules arranged in a specific way. Their main purpose is to help a cell in cell division. They are found near the nucleus, but they can be seen only during the cell division. They are found in pairs and form a special substance called centrosome, which appears near the nucleus. When the cell divides, the centrosome divides into two parts and each part moves to opposite side of the cell. Ribosomes. They are cell organelles responsible for protein synthesis. Ribosomes can be found in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes because the synthesis of proteins is important in both of them. In prokaryotes, the ribosomes float freely in the cytoplasm. In eukaryotes, they can be found floating in the cytoplasm, or they are often attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. The ribosomes attached to the ER synthesizes proteins that are to be exported out of the cell, while the ribosomes floating inside the cell synthesizes proteins that are used inside the cell. The last topic, peroximes, are small vesicles found in the cells. These enzymes are used to break the toxic material inside the cell. They digest the fatty acids of the cell as well as amino acids by carrying out oxidation reaction in the cell. They are also responsible for digestion of alcohol in the human body, hence the liver contains a large number of peroximes. By this, we have completed our today's chapter. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe it, share it, or comment on it. Feel free to ask any questions or doubts if you're having about this chapter. Thank you.